Welcome to our Discovery series on prayer, sacramentals, and God's call. On the surface, this might seem fairly straightforward, but like with many aspects of our faith, there are many layers. So in our time together through this 6-part series, we're going to take a journey of discovery together. So let's get started with a short reflection on prayer. Time is a prized possession. From the moment we arise, do we spend time with family and friends or use it to our own ends, hurrying from morning to night, days filled with noise and light, rushing through life at a fast pace, never seeking to find God's grace? We should take life part by part, listening to the feelings within our heart, moving through life with more care, finding God on the wings of a prayer, taking time in our busy days just by stopping to praise, thanking God for blessings both big and small, for our lives, for it all, giving thanks day by day, whatever may come our way, finding comfort knowing God is there in the silence of our prayer. It's interesting that there's so many pathways to God, ways to be closer to God. We live in a world where communication is abundant, being iPhones, tablets, Facebook, Twitter, instant message, whatever it is. Communication is highly valued and seems to define our lives just by the fact that there's someone out there who will acknowledge us. Absence of communications, almost like our support systems turned off. Prayer is our communication with God, and at its core, prayer is an expression of love towards the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Deepening our prayer life is sort of like a story about a boy who is watching a holy man, a mystic, praying at the river's edge. When the mystic stopped praying, the boy said, "Teach me how to pray." The mystic thought about it for a minute and then plunged the boy's head into the water and held it there for a minute, then pulled him back out of the water. After the boy got his breath back, he sputtered, "What did you do that for?" The mystic said, "I just gave you your first lesson in prayer. When you want to pray as badly as you wanted to breathe when you're underneath the water, only then will I be able to teach you." The mystic, he got his point across. Unless we really have a desire to pray, it's hard for us to stick to prayer. We can know everything there is to know about prayer, but it won't do us any good if we don't desire it. So how do you develop a desire to pray? Well, it's as simple as developing a relationship with God. You know, if you ask your friends why they spend time together, they'd probably say they just like being together. It's the same with prayer. At its heart, prayer is a relationship. It's our relationship with God. Prayer will help you discern your call to a holy life. There are many ways to approach prayer. Basically, there's meditation, that's exploring the mind, contemplation, that's exploring the soul, and conversation, that's expressing from the heart. It might seem that these approaches might be a little bit difficult or unfamiliar to you. So let me explain what they are by sharing a story. One day while walking in the park, I saw a water fountain and went to get a drink. The water was cool and tasted good. I could feel the refreshment enter my tired body. Then suddenly I began to think, we need water to survive. But where does water come from? Clouds, I thought. But where do clouds come from? Yes, vaporized moisture. These thoughts went round and round in my head, and there was just one answer: God. For the next couple of minutes, I sat on a park bench, just looking up into the sky, marveling at what God must be like. Then I talked to God for a bit in my own words. Afterwards, I went home. So from this story, we can identify the approaches to prayer. Meditation, thinking about where clouds come from. Contemplation, looking up into the sky, marveling at what God must be like. Conversation, talking with God. Before we get to pray, we need to set the stage. Choose a place to pray, pick a time to pray, choose a posture for prayer, and creating a mood for prayer. Choosing a place to pray is different for each one of us. People pray in all sorts of places because prayer isn't limited to church. Whatever place you pray, pick some place where you won't get interrupted. it helps us to pray. The best way to choose the right place is to experiment. In choosing the time to pray, it's different for each of us. Some people pray best in the morning, others at night. You know, Jesus, he prayed all the time. Experiment to find the right time for you. There are many choices in choosing posture. Some like kneeling, some like sitting, others like lying down. It's whatever makes you comfortable. The last and the most important step for creating the mood for entering prayer is taking your prayer posture, then consciously relaxing. Begin with the muscles in your face. Move down to your shoulders, your arms, your legs, and your feet. When you're fully relaxed, close your eyes and rhythmically breathe until the mood of quiet sets in. Then start your conversation with God. There's a variety of things that can bring us closer to God. It's not that one size fits all. Maybe you decide on one way, a combination, or all the above. Each one of us has to find what works best. Well, that's all we have until next time when we'll discuss prayer styles. God bless.